Hello and welcome to this presentation regarding architectural sustainability. I'm Richard Kirkham and I'll be focusing on the adaptation of buildings. But what is this exactly? In architectural terms, Douglas defines it as any work to a building over and above maintenance to change its capacity, function, or performance. Why does adaptation occur? From user demands changing during the life of a building. And some buildings, of course, stand for centuries. For example, Roman basilicas that were reused in the early Christian era. Many that still remain, even in ruin, are tourist attractions. Various factors affect the adaptability of buildings, and Douglas defined the following technically focused list. The first factor relates to non-structural considerations. Structure is key to items 2 and 3, and materiality is more important with major reductive adaptations. Agri and others provide a more holistic view. Cost-benefit analysis of various adaptation possibilities will be paramount. Preservation of heritage value is important but may be a limiting factor to change. Heritage value helps to preserve identity, which has follow-on effects on local society and culture. Usability covers a wide range of factors, such as spatial and structural transformations, accessibility, materiality, lighting, and air quality. And building codes ensure a safe, healthy, and resilient place for its users. Modern fire, emergency, and disability requirements must be applied to the adaptive building, regardless of its age. Regulation will impinge on the previous 4 aspects. Is the recycling of buildings environmentally desirable? Or is it easier and cheaper to remove a building altogether? Architect Carl Elephant coined the phrase, "The greenest building is one that is already built." And we cannot build our way to sustainability. And this relates to a 2011 report that concluded, when comparing buildings of equivalent size and function, building reuse almost always offers environmental savings over demolition and new construction. The report stated that studies show building reuse creates more and better paying jobs than new construction. Anecdotally, people and businesses are drawn to communities that retain their distinctive character and heritage, for example, via tourism. Are historic buildings really recyclable, or are we fooling ourselves? Building age is a double-edged sword. Older buildings are more likely to be heritage listed and valued by the public. But the older the building, the less adaptable it is. It's more likely to be in poor condition, and more likely to be less flexible due to smaller spaces. Despite this, there are myriad successful examples of historic building adaptation around the world, and these are a small selection. In Western Australia, the Fremantle Art Centre has had 5 distinct uses over 150 years. Here we see former and current usage marked grey and black, respectively. How is architectural heritage integrity maintained? The most common strategy, and what the public would consider as a minimum requirement, is to preserve the building envelope, even if the interior space and structure is completely different from the original. This photograph was taken in an historic part of Japan. What do you think this building is used for? It's been gutted inside, redesigned for modern consumerism, but from the outside, it's another century-old building in old Kyoto. The only clue is the aesthetically sensitive signage. It's a cafe, operated by a large multinational. Its location may split opinion, but externally at least, it preserves its heritage and its identity as a traditional Japanese building. Building adaptation affects architectural identity. Historical stewardship, environmental responsibility, and financial pragmatism contribute positively to how a society would want to be perceived by others. But there are examples that aren't as straightforward. Perhaps the reasoning behind reuse of notorious buildings comes from a desire to remember and not repeat the past. Auschwitz-Birkenau in Poland and Cambodia's Security Prison 21 have such abhorrent histories that they can only acceptably be reused as museums. Despite Wang's assertions, the sites are minimally adapted to serve as dark tourist sites. And in doing so, identity is enhanced because of the acknowledgement of past atrocities and the will to warn future generations. That concludes the presentation. Thank you.